Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel Perron. I'm an instructor in the Nautical Science Department, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies today. Welcome, family, friends, faculty, staff, and graduates to the third commencement program for the Northeast Maritime Institute College of Maritime Science. Please rise for the playing of the United States National Anthem. If you could all please be seated. I am delighted and privileged to be here for the third commencement of the Northeast Maritime Institute College of Maritime Science and the graduating class of 2018. Today we celebrate the accomplishments and academic achievements of our 9 graduating students: Kevin Albano, Justin Borges, Seth Borges, Sherman Brewer, Jeffrey McDonough, Antoine Mills Elliott, Cross Nagalia, Justin Ryan, and Nicholas Tu. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to introduce to you our Honorable President, Eric DeWicki, for the welcome address.
Good morning. It's a great privilege and an honor to be here to represent Northeast Maritime Institute, the members of the United States Coast Guard that founded the Institute and have passed recently, and really think about how far we've come in a very short period of time. And to think that we are, in fact, the nation's first private maritime college is pretty neat. And to think that we embrace what we do with 90% heart and 10% intellect. It's an experience that I'm really proud to get to participate in. And I really truly feel humbled to get to participate in. When we started this process, we developed a mission and a mission statement to equip our graduates with the combination of knowledge, critical thinking, problem solving, ethical decision making, and confidence, which will enable them to safely and efficiently operate, maintain, and manage the ships of today in the maritime industry of tomorrow. This is our third graduating class. This is our third graduating cohort. And each cohort has been remarkably challenging in their own right. And as I told many of you in the breakfast this morning, while we think we have taught you, you have taught us more than we could have ever taught you. And that is the experience and frankly, the selfishness that we get to embrace when we work with you. You're teaching us. And what does that mean? It means that we grow. We have personal growth from the time we start our educational process until the time I think we die. At least that's my goal. So, full disclosure, I never prepare a speech. And the reality is, Dr. Patton, Chief Operating Officer Korea, gave me 7 words to speak about. Last night, at about 9 o'clock, I got these 7 words. That's what I'm going to talk about because it meant something to them, and they certainly mean something to me. The first word was determination. And I think when I reflect back and I look at each one of you and your own individual stories, I know about each individual a little bit more than you know about each other. And I'm really honored to get to learn about you as individuals. And I look at the dedication that you embraced to stick with this program from start to finish. And it hasn't been easy. So again, we have 2 years to create and develop fine mariners who are knowledgeable, who are critically thinking, who are problem solvers, who are ethical in your decision making. It's not what's in it for you, it's what it's in for the whole. Confident. I look at you 9 and guess what? You kind of walked with a swagger this morning. You're confident. That was pretty neat. It was really great to witness. You're going to safely and efficiently operate the ships of today and the industry of tomorrow. And I believe that. What it then took was dedication, the next word on the list. And dedication it is. 2 years. You were dedicated to your craft, to your educational experience. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a walk in the park. It wasn't a typical associate's degree program. You received 83 college credits in this 2-year experience. That's almost a full 3-year workload for a normal college student. It's amazing that you were so dedicated to stick with that. You were challenged. I'm getting ready to reach in my pocket and pull out a challenge coin, but I don't have one. You were challenged. Every student at Northeast Maritime Institute gets a challenge coin on day 1. And they challenge each other to do push-ups if they don't demonstrate the fact that they have their challenge coin. And by the look on some faces, you're lucky I don't have my coin. You were disciplined. The fact of the matter is, you were disciplined and you learned discipline in a very subtle way. At Northeast Maritime Institute, we teach our kids to show up to work on time. How do they show up to work on time? On time is 15 minutes early for watch. On time is late, and late is you're fired. You're sent home from class. Some people don't like that, but guess what? The results on your reports from your internships proved that you took your job and your role seriously. I think every single one of you has a job offer before graduation. That's pretty impressive. You grew personally. Sometimes growing personally, and I can talk about this from my own perspective, is putting down my own preconceived conceptions to learn how to grow. Certainly intellectually, but this tough thing that we all deal with in a very tough time, in a tough period in our lives, emotional intelligence. Sometimes we're not always right. Some of you taught me that this year. You challenged my norms and my expectations to get me to shift my thinking. Personal growth is a constant challenge that in order to become successful, in order to become a leader of the maritime industry of tomorrow, you must achieve personal growth. Constantly challenge yourselves. And with that becomes maturity. How many of you in the crowd are grown up? Not this guy. I haven't grown up yet. I've got a little ways to go. And you know what? I'm proud of that. Don't ever grow up too fast. You're going to make mistakes, and when you think you're grown up and it's all done and it's all over and you've achieved everything you want, the next corner you turn, you're going to get hit in the face with a new challenge. Maturity is accepting that fact, accepting change. You all have heard me talk about the ability to adapt to ambiguity. What's that mean? The ability to accept change. In our industry, you will never have a normal operation. It changes and it is dynamic by the second. There's lots of moving pieces, not only machinery, but human beings operating that machinery, wind, weather, current, seas, storms, calm. Sometimes when it's calm at sea is the worst time for all of us to operate a vessel. So maturity is knowing how to adapt to ambiguity. And lastly, responsibility. One of the things that I appreciate most about Northeast Maritime Institute is we actually get to manage an international ship registry, a maritime administration, which is the 25th largest ship registry in the world, operated out of little old Fairhaven. Andrew Patel, your dean, works there pretty much full time, and he will tell you we are the flag of responsibility. That is our creed. We have the lowest deficiency rating in the world per capita of any ships in their performance of safety and maritime security. That started through Northeast Maritime Institute. So that level of responsibility and your responsibility to achieve greatness as the little school, the micro college, those guys at that little maritime college, it's your job to achieve and become the best of the best. As we talked about at breakfast, I will put you guys up as deck officers against any maritime academy graduate in the nation. You know what you're doing. I am really, truly proud of our faculty who works their tails off to get you there. What a team. We have the A-team. You guys are lucky to have the A-team, not only to teach you the technical skills, but these guys care about you. They love you. They smile for you. They cry for you. They embrace you as individuals, and you are no number whatsoever. We're proud of you. I will repeat what I said this morning. 90% of Cohort 3 interns were measured against NMI's model of achievement, the 3 tenets of success: honesty, integrity, and hard work. When we poll some of the largest shipping companies in the United States who receive our interns, our students, to work on their vessels, they give us the feedback as how they performed. I will tell you this. One of the graduates scored the highest rating of any week one employee of the largest and most diverse shipping company in the United States. he hasn't even graduated. I could not be more proud of this young man because determination, dedication, challenge, discipline, personal growth, maturity, and responsibility, he has elevated his own person beyond what anybody, including himself, ever expected he would achieve. This young man raised himself like me. He achieved on his own merits, nobody else's. And if there's one student you all can look up to in your cohort that you knew nothing about, that you thought you knew everything about, I'm going to single you out, Antoine. Antoine Mills. I know what you went through to get here, and I'm proud of you beyond anybody I've ever been proud of. I am truly honored to call you a graduate of NMI, a friend, and frankly, a father. I love you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Operating Officer, Ms. Heather Correa, to talk about something that's really special in our hearts and something that really means a lot to us when we decided how we were going to perform in a graduation ceremony. And please listen to her words about the stoles of gratitude, because they mean something. They mean something to us, and they will mean something to you all. And I think it's really, really important that we listen carefully to the story of the stoles of gratitude. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.
Heather Correa, Chief Operating Officer of Northeast Maritime Institute.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me to be able to impart the story of stoles of gratitude, which NMI has adopted as a way for our students to thank those who have been instrumental in their success during this period of learning at Northeast Maritime Institute's College of Maritime Science. The legend of the stole of gratitude. In pre-medieval Europe, a monk traveling the countryside on a missionary pilgrimage found a starving young boy wandering through his burned-out village in a daze, orphaned after the village had been destroyed by a band of marauders. The only thing he carried was a piece of fabric from his mother's clothes that had torn off in his hand as she was taken away by one of the invaders on horseback. Delivering him to the monastery, the monks set about teaching him to read and write. He schooled the boy in literature, history, and scientific thought, and trained him in the skills of debate and negotiation. The boy learned much and grew eager to know more of the world. When he left the monastery, he traveled to the royal city and became squire to a knight, who trained him in horsemanship, swordsmanship, and the subtleties of court society. After several years, and no longer a boy, the young man's talents were brought to the notice of the king, who made him an advisor to the royal court. Contemplating his life's journey one day, he felt that he must acknowledge the support of his mentors. He took some of the fabric from his mother's dress, which he had always carried with him, some of the wool from his monastic robes, and some of the silk tunic he now wore. With this, he fashioned 2 cloth stoles, embroidered with the runic symbol of his village, the crest of the knight he had served, and the emblem of the royal court. He then presented these stoles to the monk and the knight, along with letters proclaiming his gratitude. Eventually, he became a widely respected royal ambassador, but he never forgot the kindness and generosity which had enabled him to achieve his success. It became a tradition that spread throughout the country and beyond. The stole became a symbol of achievement for students in all faculties, with varying colors and emblems symbolizing different levels of study and institutions. Today, the stole of gratitude is worn by a graduating student during the commencement ceremony as a symbol of their academic achievement and presented with honor to those who provided aid and support in reaching their goal. The stole is worn during the commencement ceremony. After the ceremony, the new graduate presents the stole to someone who has provided extraordinary support: parents, relatives, mentors, and others who have helped with wisdom, words of support, or even financial assistance. At this time, I would like to ask the graduates to join me on the stage to receive their stole of gratitude.
Angela DeWicki, Chief Academic Officer of Northeast Maritime Institute, will now present the Lemley List Awards.
So very proud of all of you today. It's always emotional, but today it seems to be even more emotional for me. And so proud of how hard you have worked over your 2 years with us. It's not an easy program, a lot of credits, a lot of work, a lot of expectations of you, and each and every one of you stood up and met those expectations, and so I want to congratulate you. I'm here now. Our honor system is named after Captain Norman W. Lemley, and it is awarded each semester to students who receive a 3.0 in the semester. And today we're going to honor 5 graduates who obtained Lemley List honors for the entire 4 semesters they were with us, which is a huge achievement and something we wish to recognize. And I just want to give you a little bit of background on Norman Lemley. I think everybody's aware that we have Lemley Hall, but you may not know who that is named after. So it's named after Norman Lemley, who served in the United States Coast Guard in 2 capacities over 36 years. He completed Officer Candidate School in 1962 and served at both Coast Guard headquarters and the Pentagon during his Coast Guard career. He retired as captain in 1998, and as a Coast Guard civilian employee, he rose to the senior executive service, the civilian equivalent of a flag officer. During his 25 years in senior leadership positions, Norman was a driving force in both the development and implementation of nearly every major marine safety, security, and pollution prevention initiatives. He served on government delegations to the United Nations International Maritime Organization over a period of 53 years and participated in diplomatic conferences in London that developed the International Maritime Security Treaty. In retirement, he really didn't have a retirement, Norman Lemley continued his tireless efforts to honor the mariner, consulting on maritime safety and security, piracy, environmental protection, and national and international regulations. Norman served as the Director of Maritime Safety and Security at Northeast Maritime Institute for 15 years. He was co-founder of the Commonwealth of Dominica's International Ship Registry and assisted with its growth and development for over 13 years. Throughout his life, Norman Lemley put his service first to the nation and to the international community. Norman Lemley left a tremendous legacy and will long be remembered for his exceptional service. They still speak about him at the International Maritime Organization to this day. So as I said, we will be honoring 5 of our graduates today. And those are, if you want to come to the stage, Sherman Brewer, sorry, I should be a little more prepared. You're good. We have Jeffrey McDonough, my apologies. Antoine Mills Elliott. Cross Nagala. Last but not least, Justin Ryan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angela. I would like to now introduce the Director of Nautical Science Department, Captain Tom Sullivan, who will present the Senior Chief Keogh Award.
It's quite a crowd this morning. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, sailors. I have to differentiate there. As the director of the Nautical Science program, I take a little bit of pride in seeing what we've grown into so far. I've gotten to have a direct hand in crafting the curriculum that has made these sailors marketable to today's industry. And it really started out with what I wish I knew then, when I started out. It's not just about the skills, the trade, it's about being a person. And that's really what NMI is about, is that holistic crafting a mariner. It takes a village. You've heard that quite a few times. Well, it takes a village here as well. Cohort 3, 2 years ago. Seems like yesterday, walking in the door, not knowing what to expect. I want you to remember where you came from, where you started from, while you're looking at where you're going. It's ever-changing, this industry, these jobs, yourselves. Take a little count of your tradition. Take a look at your sea chest. We talked about that at breakfast this morning. That what do you carry with you where you go? What's your legacy? What's your tradition? What's in your sea chest this morning? What will it be tomorrow? It's really tough to find words that fit an occasion like this, but luckily for me, I was brought up around some sailors who were much more eloquent than myself. So I'm going to steal some words from a captain I once sailed with, speaking about what we just went through over the last 2 years. And it's about nautical science, this term nautical science. What does that mean? What is it even? What is your degree in? So it's unfortunate that nautical science holds such an insignificant place in traditional education institutions, as well as in the minds of the public at large. People call it esoteric, that even the slightest consideration of nautical science allows anyone to realize that it really offers practical ways to understand basic topics like math and physics and the sciences. Studying navigation and the controlling forces of a ship bring hands-on meaning to Archimedes and Copernicus, Newton, Kepler, Bernoulli. The names go on and on. That in some classes seem so boring, but when put to real-world aspects, make complete sense. Maybe it's the fact that nautical science provides us a connection to our saltwater roots and our maritime past. But if we go beyond the academics, there's comparisons between our lives and nautical science. For most of us, birth is a departure from a harbor, the beginning of a voyage, leaving a known, safe harbor. We proceed cautiously at first, and we develop our skills, learn the ropes, so to speak, and gain the experience necessary to make our own choices with regard to our course and speed. And we head towards a destination. But as time goes by, we see that life often takes on the characteristics of a sailing ship, on a broad reach, rolling along with the sea and the prevailing winds. And as most of us know, more often than not, it seems like a hard upwind close reach, with every wave knocking us a little bit further off that course. Every once in a while, we're overtaken by a squall, some of them small, but some of them so violent that we find our sails blown out, and then we're wallowing in the trough of mountainous seas. With those squalls, we become a little bit more aware and a little bit more cautious. With those obstacles, we're able to proceed and use one of our several means to fix our position again. Lines of position like relationships and family and education and a career. The things that let us know where we are in our lives. A lot of times our voyage is influenced by the wind, and we must always be ready to alter our course, change our tacks, heave to, set full sail, or drop anchor and hold fast for a little while. If only everyone was as fortunate as us to have experienced life from the perspective on the high seas from the deck of a sailing ship. Maybe then all of us could develop a respect for our place in the world and deal with life's issues in a modest and straightforward way, the same way that we deal with successful navigation of a ship on the constantly changing world of the sea. Joseph Conrad wrote about our trade, one of my favorite authors, that the redeeming and ideal aspect of this breadwinning is the attainment and preservation of the highest possible skill. It's made up of accumulated traditions, kept alive by individual pride and rendered exact by professional opinion. And like the higher arts, it's spurred on and sustained by discriminating praise. That's why the attainment of proficiency, the pushing of your skills, with the attention to the most delicate shades of excellence, is a matter of vital concern. This is your discriminating praise, Cohort 3. You're there. Fix your position. You can change course now. You know where you are. Let us know where you're going. What's this next destination? Over the last 2 years, I've had the pleasure of watching Cohort 3 grow from some self-concerned individuals ready to blunder headlong into life's navigational hazards, into some self-aware mariners ready at the drop of a hat to help a shipmate in need. These sailors are ready to make the sea their home, and for me, that makes it feel that we're doing something right here. I've been known in challenging times for staff and faculty to remind the staff that a landscape can be changed forever by a glacier, and that day to day that change is barely noticeable. Cohort 3, take a look and see how your glacier has changed the landscape. I can only hope that you're as excited as I am for your next sailing, and that know that you've left NMI a much better place for all your efforts, and that our industry is in good hands. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this voyage, and that I hope that our CPAs will come within hailing distance again in the future. Cohort 3, we've been through a lot together. One of the things that we experienced was we lost one of our own during our watch together. And all of us are still trying to fix our position since we said goodbye to Senior Chief Kehoe. Jules and I shared career paths for quite a while in the Coast Guard. We attended Quartermaster A School together, advanced through the ranks, evolving with the Coast Guard. Jules kept with it and continued on in the Coast Guard, while I jibed off to join the Merchant Marine. She retired as a Senior Chief Boatswain Mate and joined our ranks like she'd been here forever. Her rank insignia for Chief Petty Officer tells the story of the trials and tribulations and lessons that come with the responsibility of that rank. One of those symbols in particular stands out, and that's the fouled anchor. You see it a lot in the maritime industry. Not many people know what it's known for. It's known as the sailor's disgrace, a somewhat simple task of hauling back your anchor, and it wraps up in its own chain. Sailor's disgrace reminds the chief petty officer that there's going to be times when there's circumstances beyond our control in the performance of our job, but you still have to get the job done. And it's during these times that humility and fortitude are brought to bear. Well, Jules embodied that day to day, no matter what we were talking about. By her example, she showed Cohort 3 how to carry yourself with dignity, pride, and to get the job done. Correctly, I might add. I'd like to take the time now to recognize one of our graduating cohort students for following Jules' example of being a shipmate, taking care of your shipmates, and holding each other to a higher standard by awarding our Senior Chief Kehoe Award. Jeff McDonough, will you join me on stage? Jeff, this honor is awarded to a student mariner that reflects NMI's core values of honesty, integrity, and hard work, and through demonstration sustains exceptional standards of proficiency, conduct, and whose professional appearance and bearing are consistently impeccable. The award shall be in recognition of a student mariner that demonstrates through action that they're following the example of tradition set by Senior Chief Boatmate Jules Kehoe, Coast Guard retired. Congratulations, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Sullivan. I'm honored to introduce the next speaker, Attorney Scott W. Lang. Scott W. Lang graduated from Marquette University and received his law degree at Georgetown University. He is admitted to practice in Massachusetts and the District of Columbia. In addition, he is admitted to practice before the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, the United States Court of Appeals, First Circuit, and the United States Supreme Court. Attorney Lang served as Special Assistant District Attorney in the Bristol County District Attorney's Office from 1978 to 1990. He taught labor and employment law at UMass Dartmouth from 1991 to 2005, as well as participating as a faculty member in many continuing legal education seminars. He was an arbitrator to the Commonwealth Mediation and Conciliation Incorporated from 1999 to 2005. He served as the 37th mayor of the city of New Bedford for 3 terms from January 2nd, 2006 through January 2nd of 2012. With a strong history of civic engagement and public service, Mr. Lang saw an opportunity to become fully involved in his community by entering for the race of mayor for the city of New Bedford in August of 2005. On November 8th of 2005, Mr. Lang was elected the 37th mayor of the city of New Bedford. Upon his election, Mr. Lang wasted no time in rallying the community and addressing the quality of life issues most important to city residents. In his first term, he led a full-scale, comprehensive effort to reduce crime, including reopening public district stations and in strengthening the police presence community-wide. Initiated an aggressive program to address abandoned and tax-delinquent properties, created jobs by supporting small businesses, resolved collective bargaining agreements with city employee unions, balanced and projected fiscal year 06 budget deficit of $1.5 million, initiated city financial management system improvements, and sparked a statewide discussion about the need to modify the state's MCAS graduation requirement for his innovative leadership on a myriad of issues impacting the New Bedford community, NBC 10 and the Standard Times named him the 2006 South Coast Man of the Year. In 2007, Mayor Lang was re-elected for a second term, and his priorities continued to include enhancing public safety, competing to create more and better jobs, managing city government efficiency, preparing New Bedford children to meet the challenges of their future, developing strong, vibrant neighborhoods, and strengthening community pride. For his distinguished leadership regarding education issues, Mayor Lang received awards in 2007 from Massachusetts Association of School Committees and Citizens for Public Schools. In 2008, the mayor was nominated and elected to serve on the Massachusetts Local Government Advisory Council, a group of mayors, select persons, and school committee members who advise the governor on key issues facing cities and towns. The mayor has also initiated and raised the funds to support an annual summer youth program for New Bedford teenagers, structured on community service, classroom learning, and professional development and enrichment activities. In the fall of 2009, he was elected to the third term. In 2011, he served as the president of the Massachusetts Mayor Association and was appointed a member of Governor Patrick's Economic Development Policy and Planning Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Lang.
I'd forgotten most of that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Just going to write down some of the things I had done. I was honored to be asked to speak at your commencement, the third graduating class, because I know how hard Eric and Angela DeWicki worked to bring this dream about, and how all your great faculty members came together to see that your school become a college and recognized by the state for its tremendous work, and then all of you continue the faith that they had. If you could set up a private maritime college, we knew we would get great candidates who then would excel throughout the industry, bringing more great candidates. Eventually we'll outgrow Fairhaven Town Hall, move on, and you'll all come back and you will tell about being here in the very beginning. But I want to make some comments that I've been working on for quite some time, and I'm just going to, I don't know that you can see this, but this is my final speech, and this is going to be the speech I give today. And you can see I've spent a lot of time thinking about it and thinking about your role in the future. So good morning to the class of September 2018 and all gathered family and friends. I'd like to acknowledge President DeWicki, Chief Academic Officer Angela DeWicki, COO Heather Correa, the Chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Patton, the Dean of Students, Andrew Patel, and of course all of the hardworking staff of this great institution. I'm privileged to be here with you today on your graduation from Northeast Maritime Institute. This is the Institute's third commencement as a college in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. In 1876, the United States Coast Guard Academy began less than a mile from here. At that time, the Academy was known as the Revenue Cutter School of Instruction. Its first class had 9 cadets. Its campus was the vessel Dobbin, a 2-masted topsail schooner berthed somewhere near Pope's Island. Those 9 cadets commenced on a 2-year training mission. Upon completion, they became officers in the United States Coast Guard. Then as now, there is no finer port in the country from which to learn seamanship than here at the Port of New Bedford and Fairhaven. Today, 142 years later, you are the latest 9. You are the 9 of the future, and shortly you will follow in their footsteps as mariners. In the early days of our country, New Bedford's whaling fleet was known throughout the world, and impressive merchant ships with the name New Bedford on their transoms transported American products throughout all the countries and would return with exotic imports and staples for our nation's markets. 175 years later, the Port of New Bedford continues to be world famous and is the #1 fishing port in the United States. It is a diverse port with fishing, shipping, transportation, and recreational craft navigating its waters daily. And soon it will be a key port in our country's clean energy sector. And this is why the Port of New Bedford and Fairhaven is the natural home for the Northeast Maritime Institute. This institute was founded in 1881 and has a reputation for rigorous academic study, which I know you all have participated in, and hands-on learning experiences. The curriculum graduates young men and women who are fully prepared to enter into this nation's proud and dynamic maritime industry. As mariners, you will be at the forefront of exciting technological advances in ocean exploration and ocean economic development. You will be involved in the continuing expansion and improvement of ocean transportation of both cargo and passengers. As you've learned, 95% of all cargo in the world travels by way of sea. You will not be outsourced. All the people of the world are connected by oceans, lakes, rivers. Each of you understand the significance of the oceans to America's economic and national security. And it's not as if you've spent your time here studying horse and buggies. Your education has given you the most modern training available in a field that only continues to expand. You have invested in a lifelong career that will be constantly challenging you and also will reward you financially for your expertise and all of your hard work and efforts. You've earned an associate's degree in applied science and nautical science, which gives you credentials to be respected as a professional in your field. Your loved ones and friends in attendance today have good reason to be very proud of your accomplishments. Be confident that all you have achieved is proof that you have within you the tools for continued future success. I have learned over the years that a commencement address must be relevant. It must resonate with the graduates. Giving you advice that you will never use might be interesting, but would be a lost opportunity. For example, me telling you today not to buy a DeSoto, a Hudson, a Saturn, an Oldsmobile, or a Packard is probably good advice, unless you're looking to collect antique cars. But it's probably not relevant at this time in your life. What is relevant is giving you advice that you can use as you walk out of this beautiful Fairhaven Town Hall and into your bright future. So let me begin. As your schools taught you, your families have taught you, honesty is the best policy. Any variation that waters down this truism is not honest. You'll be known for your character. There is no substitute for integrity and trustworthiness. Be responsible and accountable. Never hesitate to admit a mistake and never be reluctant to apologize when it's warranted. Be known for these traits. Second, you're not graduating today on your own. There have been family, friends, and mentors and teachers, both here and in your earlier education, that have guided you every step of the way. Recognize them and rely on them. If you do anything else, you will not be true to yourself, and you will shortchange your future opportunities and potential. Third, many of you are about to embark on worldwide travels. Learn about different cultures as you travel around this earth. 30 years ago, I would have said to you, write home often, call home once in a while. Now I recommend that you email or text every day, Skype every couple of days. Stay in touch with the people who love you and are thinking about you every minute of the day. On your travels, share with what you've learned and listen to what others share with you. Believe it or not, this will be more benefit to you than to them. Be courteous and polite wherever you go. Fourth, respect everyone. If you give respect, you will receive it back. We're all flesh and blood. We're all the same. Everyone has a beating heart, and everyone has feelings. Everyone wants to connect with fellow human beings. Take great advantage of this. You'll be traveling the world. Fifth, the world itself is in constant flux. Keep your eyes open. Never let your guard down. Never compromise your personal safety. Befriend everyone, but only be close friends with those you really know. Stay away from alcohol and drugs. Always make your best first impression. Pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. Sixth, never stop reading. Read for your profession. Read for fun. Read to learn. Never stop learning. Be inquisitive. Read at least 3 recognized and inspected news sources or newspapers each day. Stay up with the news, but vary the news sources you watch or listen to. It's important to be exposed to as many different opinions regarding the events of the day and the major issues that face our world as you can find. This will allow you to be a better informed citizen, and will allow you to form your own opinions on key issues. Gather the facts. Take a stand. Be able to defend your point of view in a civil manner. Always in a civil manner. Always listen. Seventh, think about everything I've already told you. I want you to have fun. All right? I want you to have fun. Be interesting. Have a lot of different interests and hobbies. Be conversant in pop culture and knowledgeable in world and U.S. history. Share your interests and knowledge with your friends. You've been educated in the historic center of marine commerce. Learn about the history and heritage of our seafaring community and country. And share the history of our rich port with those you meet throughout your lives. Encourage them to come. See where your roots began. Eighth, there's 73 of these, by the way. Eighth, be a responsible citizen. Register to vote, then make sure you always vote. Maybe run for office one day. Volunteer for anything you think is worthwhile. Support causes that you think are worthwhile. Participate in your community. Always lend a helping hand. Always lend a helping hand to your neighbor. Treat people like you want to be treated. Always be kind of heart. Ninth, take care of your health. Make sure you're well rested. Make sure you're well rested and well exercised. Eat right and do everything in moderation. In sum, treat your body as if it's the temple you live in. Your body is the temple that you live in, your spirit lives in. Treat it well. Take care of it. 10th, I wanted to have 10 points of advice for you all. I realize that I've just given you hundreds. And to apply my first rule of honesty, I will admit that I'm now about to give you 10 more. My last piece of advice for today's commencement speech is for you to look in the mirror and feel that you have accomplished a great deal. But don't rest on your laurels. You have so much more to do. You have so much more to achieve. You have such great potential. The moment you leave this hall, you will begin your journey. You will continue your quest, if you're true to yourself, for high achievement and excellence. Anything less will not be your best. You've proven that. Anything less than continuing to move forward to achieve excellence will not be your best. Anything less will not lead you to greatness. Lastly, I want to comment about our ship of state, the United States. As a young, educated person, you're going to be counted on to help guide our country. You're the next generation, the next important generation. You're the next leaders. We all take the greatness of the United States and our democracy for granted. We all wake up in the morning and go to bed at night assuming that the land of the free and the home of the brave can weather any storm with or without our help. Let the other guy do it. Let George do it. I firmly believe that this is not the case. You have to be involved. It constantly requires citizens' involvement to have a successful democracy and a successful country. As you travel abroad, present yourself as a proud, confident, friendly citizen of the United States. You will be your fellow countrymen's ambassadors. You will represent all of us. You'll be an emissary of NMI. You will grow a great reputation for yourself and all of us who have supported you and have faith in you. Build alliances. Demonstrate that you understand the cooperation among people, entities, and countries is a key to a prosperous and peaceful world. Be leaders. Take our nation to new heights. I have tremendous faith that each of you will contribute to Americans' excellence. In closing, my sincere congratulations on your success. Always keep one hand on the tiller and one hand on the ship's rail. As mariners, you will have a very, very interesting and varied career. I look forward to following your careers, and I will always pray for your safe return to your home port. Good luck. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to celebrate the achievements, hard work, and dedication of our graduates. We will now begin the most important part of the graduation ceremony, the conferring of the degrees.
If we could have the Chief Academic Officer, the Chairman of the Board, and the COO come up here as well to congratulate the students. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered today to celebrate the achievements, hard work, and dedication of our graduates. We're excited for you. We are sad, quite frankly, that you won't be in our lives on a daily basis anymore. We hope you stay in touch with us, but this is exciting. It really is exciting. With that, the first diploma goes to Kevin Lewis Albano, cum laude.
Justin David Borges. Seth Henry Borges. Sherman Stewart Brewer. Jeffrey Ryan McDonough. Antoine Taj Mills Elliott.
We all get hurt.
Cross Logan Nagalia. Justin Andrew Ryan. And finally, Nicholas Blake, too.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Vince Patton, the chairman for the Board of Trustees for Northeast Maritime Institute. And it really gives me an honor today to present an honorary diploma to someone who has really, really, truly been outstanding for our 9 students, graduates from Cohort 3. And it reminds me of the biblical verse from Proverbs 11:25, which says that a generous person prospers. Whosoever refreshes others refreshes self. And that goes without saying about this individual who, during the course of time when Cohort 3 was in operation, he was there. He served as their shipmate, as their sea daddy, as we say in the military, for those who are super mentors to one another. That this individual was there when they needed him most. When someone was hungry, he fed them. When someone was sleepy, he made sure that they got good sleep. When someone needed something of financial means, he was there. And this individual has carried on within his own blood of serving others in the capacity of his role as an auxiliarist with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And for that, I'd like to call up Auxiliarist Theodore Lorenzen, who will receive, yes, you, sir, receive our Honorary Associate of Educational Services from Northeast Maritime Institute.
And finally, our president, Eric Dewicki.
In closing, Ted, thanks for all you do behind the scenes. You know, even the students don't probably see all the things you do for the Institute and your town and your community and this village, and we truly appreciate it. Mayor Lang, I'm hoping future Mayor Lang. Attorney Lang actually helped us clear some hurdles with the state to become the first private maritime college in the history of the United States, and it was no easy feat. And his advice to you all, he handled it with grace and dignity and humility. Sometimes when I was ready to pull my hair out, and he really got us over the hurdles to get the approval to become a college, and it's really amazing. So not only do we thank you, Fairhaven thanks you, because I believe the Institute is going to be one of Fairhaven's greatest gifts. So thank you. When I feel my life is a bit frenetic, I go up to my office in my sitting room and I look on the wall and I grab some writings off the wall that are hanging on a plaque. And I read these words: from a mariner, from a sailor. And many of you have heard these words, but I will say them again, and I will reiterate these words because they truly have meaning for me. And they are as follows. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all of your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss and lose, and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings and nor lose your common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiven minute with 60 seconds worth of a distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll all be men, my sons. Congratulations to Cohort 3. You are professional mariners, and as we are finding out, you are the best of the best, best in the country, in just 2 years. Hold that tight to your chest, wear it proudly. Be humble be gracious, and the key to success in life is gratitude. Remember to thank every aspect of your life for every aspect of your success. Those who helped you along the way, those who are here, those who are gone, those experiences, and be not afraid of making a mistake. Embrace your mistakes because it's the one opportunity that you're going to get to learn. You are NMI graduates. I'd like to ask everybody in the crowd to stand and congratulate Cohort 3 upon their graduation.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. If you could all stay put while we all leave the stage, that would be appreciated. Thank you.